In 1967, Roland Barthes wrote La mort de l'auteur, the death of the author, an essay proclaiming that the opinions of an author on what his text may mean are irrelevant to the interpretation of said text. In 2020, Julian and Magnus decided that the author's abilities are just as irrelevant. This is Kill the Author. Welcome to Kill the Author, episode 21. We're at the second half of episode 11. After this, it's only the final episode.
Yes, we're getting there.
We're really getting there. Right now, outside, it's snowing.
Yeah, there's real snow.
There's real snow, which is fitting with this episode.
Yeah.
Because that is also the weather situation in this episode. Like, we're very much entering the school days verse here.
It's lining up. It's all,
the
it's all coming
timelines
together.
The timelines are connecting. The
timelines are converging.
It's the new Spider-Man movie. It's all connected. And today we will connect with school days once more. That's a great bridge into going into what the episode is actually about. First of all, what do you think of this half? I know that last half I had a lot more fun than you did.
I still think that this is, out of all the halves of school days we've seen up to this point, probably my favorite one to watch.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I think I know why. I felt a bit different about it, but I think I know why.
Partially. Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm. My take on this half of the episode is that I liked the first half more. I had a lot more to say about the first half, I felt like. But that was kind of like... That was like the first water I was handed after I came out of the desert. The last half. This half, I already have like slightly raised expectations. Because, yeah.
You always want something, then you get used to it so fast.
Yeah. Especially in school days.
You ungrateful monster. Would you say that the breakpoint that I chose was a good breakpoint thematically?
You kind of brought that up before. I don't think it has to be this point. I think we could have made the point at the actual intermission cut of the episode. Because I feel like the last scene we discussed last time is sort of the intro to what's going to happen throughout the rest of this episode. The end of last time we discussed how Sekai comes back to school and tells Makoto that she's pregnant with his child. And basically everything that happens in this episode is sort of like ripple effects from that big event.
Yeah.
To the point where it gets kind of ludicrous how much everything is changed by that. Alright, lead us into it. What happens this time?
So we're back outside. Wait a minute. They're having sports class. Isn't it like December?
Yes. I assume okay, this is a case of different school systems, right? Maybe in Japan they just don't have indoor gymnasiums. I don't know. Maybe you always have to do sports class outside.
I think they do.
They also wear the exact same clothing that they wear in summer. They could be wearing
Isn't it really cold?
It should be really cold. Every time we see them outside, they're dressed in coats with scarves around their necks.
Why did I never think of that? Anyway, that's this scene.
I mean, I don't think the people who made the show thought about that.
We see people outside. The squad is there again. And Nanami, Kato, and Hikari are all there. We see all, four of these characters. I'm counting the squad as one character.
Yeah.
We see all four of them in a row, all kind of looking upset. Not the squad as much, but the other three.
Yeah.
And we hear someone say, did you hear? Yeah, that's pretty bad. I assume that's probably the squad saying this. We don't see who says it.
Mm-hmm. Probably one of them. We have that a few times throughout the episode where we just basically see the faceless masses jabbering about what happened.
But we can imagine what they're talking about here. They're talking about what happened with Makoto and Sekai.
Yeah, words getting around.
And they're in a different class as well.
Mm-hmm. But they have had their own experiences with Makoto.
Yes.
As basically everyone apparently did.
Mm-hmm. Then we can see Sekai, who is in bed in, like, the school hospital room. What do you call that?
Nurse's office.
In the nurse's office. So she like puts her hand on her stomach, because she's pregnant. I get it.
Yes.
And then she says like, but that's right. It'll be Makoto's child.
And she seems like content about
yeah,
this.
she looks happy about it.
And like, okay, questions. Okay, she loves Makoto, right? Like, but despite everything that happens, she loves Makoto.
I think that's clear in this episode that she still loves Makoto.
Yeah, so it's gonna be nice that that's Makoto's child, I guess. But like, that's right. Yeah, okay. This is like her commenting on the anxieties of pregnancy, but at least it'll be Makoto's child.
Yeah.
But this still seems like kind of a jump. Like, especially after the first half of this episode, which was very much the fallout of the sex tape, that she's still this chill about the situation with Makoto. Like, she's ride or die. Like, she stays on the train.
Speaking of,
hey,
we go back to the this episode has very fast cuts between scenes.
Yeah, and very fast jumps between times.
Yeah, we go back to December sports outside.
Yeah,
where the squad is arguing that they'll be fine because they use protection.
Yeah.
All things considered, does Makoto use protection?
My assumption is from something he says later that he didn't at the beginning, but then did later on.
Okay. I guess at some point someone told him.
Or like all the women who engage with Makoto are on the pill. Yeah. I don't know.
Or yeah, just someone told him at some point.
Oh, this
is how people get pregnant, Makoto.
Here's a fun little detail for those of you who aren't from Germany and don't speak German. We have the best word for birth control pills. We call them Anti-Baby-Pille, which is, anti-baby pill. Just wanted to bring that out, just a little linguistic fun fact. It's just, German is so literal.
I just know them as baby pill.
Yeah.
Just the baby pill.
Shortened to
Short and sweet.
Anti-baby pill.
It's the baby pill. You take it for not baby.
You either get baby or baby pill. One or the other.
So the squad is then joking about how, about how Kumi has a boyfriend. Okay, actually, they're saying that they probably shouldn't be seeing Makoto anymore.
Yeah. And one of them says, like, but you have a boyfriend, so you have nothing to say there.
Yeah, and then they're laughing about it.
So, like, they were cheating.
Yeah, they were cheating.
They were cheating with Makoto. Maybe that's the person who didn't want to join in on the orgy?
Kumi is the one with the boyfriend. It's mentioned again later, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, and honestly, I'm not gonna look.
I think it wasn't Kumi. It was someone else.
I'm gonna draw the line here. I'm gonna draw the line of ridiculously complex looking up of shit right at this point.
Okay.
This is not something I will look up.
So the squad rejects Makoto, more or less at least. Like, they say they shouldn't see him anytime soon again.
Yeah.
And to close this out, we see Kotonoha.
She's just completely
checked
completely
out. Gone, looking at this guy with dead eyes.
With her dead, shineless eyes.
What I'm wondering is she listening in on this?
I assume she's like, locking all of this information out.
Because I'm not sure
I assume she heard this.
I'm not sure to what degree she's really realizing what has happened.
Yeah. I assume that what's being shown here is that she is hearing about it, but she's like, she's in 100% ultra denial. Like, she's denialing that away.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah.
Then we move back to the school lab again.
Yeah. The Makoto and Hikari fuck room.
Yeah, Makoto and Hikari are there. They might have had sex before this scene. Who knows? They do this all the time. I'm gonna
assume they didn't because of the context of the scene. But you never know.
You never know.
You never know with Hikari anymore. Like, what the fuck is going on with this woman? This scene is basically her saying, well, this is what you get for all the things you did. And it's like, God, I don't understand Hikari.
Like, Makoto asks, what does Hikari want him to do? And Hikari, and I'm saying it differently again.
You said it differently a couple of times, it's fine.
Hikari Beefsteak says that, she actually scolds him for not using protection. She tells him that he should take responsibility, which, I guess.
Two things about this. First of all, Hikari, you're the last person here to talk about what you should do in regards to Sekai. I still don't understand what the fuck the whole thing with you and Makoto was. After this scene, it's over. It didn't add anything to the plot. It was completely pointless. Secondly, she doesn't just say he should take responsibility. She says that you're a guy, so you should take responsibility.
Yeah, okay.
Which is another one in the long line of this is what men are that School Days is presenting us with. And she ends it out, I don't know if you also noted that down, with her reason being it would be weird if people saw her with Makoto.
Just people are gonna look at her weird if she's with him too much.
And like, yes, but like, why now? Like,
I'll get back to that.
Yeah, Makoto was always blatantly in a relationship with Sekai. Like, they danced at the school festival. At that point, it was clear. And, like, tons of people were fucking him. Why is it only now something that you care about?
Like, after she tells him that it's gonna look weird if they're seen together and she walks away, there's like a 5-second uninterrupted shot of Makoto's face. Just blank.
There's a couple of those.
There's like modem noises going on in his brain, and then he starts looking upset, like his brain was slowly processing what she told him. The next scene is 3 different scenes. I just bundled them together because it changed so fast.
I honestly, there's some parts that I just didn't write down in this episode because it's just the same thing over and over again.
Makoto is walking through the school, and everyone's like gossiping about him behind his back. They're saying, like, he doesn't look like he gets around, but I guess he does. Maybe he gets around too much. And stuff like, guys have it easy.
Yeah. They have a weird gender thing again, with guys have it easy because they can just fuck someone and then it's over for them. And girls have it hard. Dot. Point. End of sentence.
Then we jump to Kato's classroom, where she's on her phone. We see her looking at Makoto's contact. From context later, I think she's calling him. She's calling him again later. She's definitely thinking about him.
Or thinking about calling him, either or.
Yeah, Squad is there again, I guess. Saying that they kind of feel bad for him. I guess, because everyone treats him like the piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
And then Kato gets up and leaves. It's such a short scene. We have Kotonoha now on the roof in the evening. The sun's setting, which
she's still checked out.
Yeah, which I think is a good hint that she like in the last episode she was up on the roof at night.
Yeah,
she probably was just sitting there at night and didn't leave.
She's like regressed to early show Kotonoha.
Like she's looking at her phone, at a picture of some building. And some other stuff. I couldn't figure out what that is.
I also couldn't.
I thought it was maybe Makoto's building, but it isn't. I compared it.
So she didn't set up security cameras in front of his house?
No, I thought she was like looking at a photo of his apartment. But no, she isn't. Okay. She's looking at some building. It could be something from... something that she mentions later. Sakashino Hills.
Yeah. Sakashino Hills, I also wrote that down.
It could be. The next scene is in Makoto's
Here's where my notes start again.
Okay.
After the scene with Hikari, I didn't write anything down until this scene.
They're all fairly small scenes. The next, we're in Makoto's apartment again. He's looking at a bunch of magazines.
Yeah.
Probably porn, I guess?
Partially, but it's also like book. There's also books there that were like the dating manuals from the start of the season.
That makes sense.
They were also among them. All of these things from the start are still here. Things have just extremely changed. That's like a theme throughout all of episode 11.
He's looking at all of these magazines and like throwing them to the side, being mad. Like none of it's doing it for him, I guess. And he complains about Sekai telling everyone what happened.
Yeah. He throws a fucking tantrum that he has to face consequences.
You mentioned in the last episode that at this point Makoto has god powers and he knows it. It's like in this episode he lost them.
Yeah. The pregnancy announcement removed all of his god powers. Suddenly people are aware, wait, what we're doing is fucking terrible.
Yeah, first half of the episode, everyone wants to have sex with Makoto. The second half, no one does.
And it's really weird because, like, yes, Makoto was always way too popular for what kind of guy he was throughout the entire show. But, like, the last half of the episode, to contrast this half of the episode, by the way, theme of this episode, contrast, the last half of this episode, to contrast this episode, had to turn his, like, romantic abilities up to such a high degree that it's frankly ridiculous that it's all gone now. we actually get like a rundown of who is all abandoning him because he tries to call a couple people.
He gets a call from Kato.
Yeah.
Who tells him, who I guess tells him to meet up, and he's super happy about it.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally, some female attention.
Oh yeah, she also fucking sucks. Maybe she'll stick with me.
While they're speaking, by the way, like while Makoto tells her to meet them up, we get like one shot of Kotonoha on the roof and Sekai in bed in school, which I think they did this intentionally to show us what an asshole he is.
Yeah, probably.
Like his two official girlfriends.
Yeah.
Just alone.
Well, he did finally break up with Kotonoha last episode, so she is actually not his girlfriend anymore.
Yeah. So in the next scene, Kato arrives at his house. He opens the door and he's like super happy.
Something I wrote down here, by the way. He opens his door in his pajamas. Like, all of the girls have abandoned you. Have a bit of decency. You don't open the fucking door in pajamas.
He has no decency.
Yeah, I know, but you know, he could try.
So he looks very happy. Well, she's extremely serious, and she says she wants to ask him something.
Yeah.
And then he immediately goes defensive and assumes she wants to talk about Sekai.
Yeah. And that it's not his fault, he immediately says.
There's like a bit of silence. And then Kato says like, I see. And then she says, you didn't used to be someone who'd say something like that.
So, okay.
We talked about this before, in the way that we said that, like at the beginning of the show, Makoto wasn't a better person, but he had constraints.
Yeah.
They used to be childhood friends. She mentions this. Yeah. Like, they've known each other forever.
And the only other thing we've really seen of Makoto before the show was how he was, like, nice to Setsuna when she had, like, a rough day at school.
So maybe he used to be better?
He maybe used to be better. But I think what the show is trying to show us here, with all the contrast in this episode and with how, like, on a new level of shitty Makoto is in the first half of this episode, is, oh, how he's fallen. Oh, how this man has changed. I think that's what the show is trying to tell us here. And it's just frankly failed at showing us that Makoto was a good person at any point. I feel like the show wanted to show that, but really failed at it.
I don't know.
Like, people defend this show a lot by saying, like, you're not supposed to do what Makoto does. And yes, in these last 2 episodes, for sure, that's what the show is trying to tell us. But I think what it's trying to tell us is that Makoto used to be better, something it has failed at demonstrating. Like, and also, why is it Kato who says that? Like, Kato has been constantly terrible and cruel throughout the entire run of the show. And she's the one who has to be you used to be a much nicer guy person. Her whole relationship with Makoto was based on actively cheating. And on fucking mentally destroying Kotonoha so she'd drop him. Like, Kato is not the person to say this.
I mean, I guess she's known him for the longest.
She
Except
does.
For Setsuna, maybe.
She does, but also, like, she doesn't have a high horse to sit on, right? Like, she doesn't have a good reason to be the voice of humanity in this situation.
After she tells him that, by the way, you can see his eyes like physically drift apart.
Yeah,
he makes like a noise. It's like his brain just melted. She says he used to be nicer in middle school.
Yeah,
and that she's had enough. Yeah, and then she's leaving.
Yeah,
so
everybody has officially abandoned him now.
Hikari has abandoned him. Kato has abandoned him. The school has, I guess, rejected him because they're all talking.
They all talk negatively about him all the time. Yeah.
I think I'm forgetting someone. The squad has also rejected him.
Yeah.
Everyone has.
Just to be clear, just to like re-emphasize this, how much this is contained to this episode, how terrible Makoto is. Like, about half of these options only happened this episode. Like, the squad and Hikari being with Makoto at all is a product of this episode and came right the fuck out of nowhere.
We see Kato in the elevator calling him an idiot.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that scene.
Yeah, that's basically where Kato vanishes from this plot. She has one scene where she like sits somewhere again later on, but that's basically it.
Okay, the next is a short one in the school, but I do have something to say about this, specifically the entrance shot of it.
Okay.
because we see a shot of the entire school complex from the top. I don't think we've seen that one before. First of all, it's grayer than ever. I went back to some previous episodes, and I think there really is a linear desaturation going on throughout the show.
Okay.
Like the colors are just disappearing.
Oh.
It just gets grayer and grayer.
Interesting.
And the other thing is in the back right, we see like a larger building behind the school, and that's the theater from episode 9 that Setsuna was in.
Oh.
In that one scene. I was wondering what building this is. It's part of the school complex.
Okay, did you find that on the wiki, the theater?
No, I went back to the episode. Because you saw an establishing shot of it. It's the same building.
Okay, interesting.
That and another thing.
So there is an actual theater. It's not just a hallucination.
Maybe that's also the sports building. It could be.
Yeah, but they have sports outside in December, so probably not, right?
I mean, it might still be November.
It might be a warm November.
And one more thing, the flashback scene that we had in the beginning of this episode, that happened after the episode before this, where, Makoto and Sekai were arguing.
Yeah.
It was on the roof.
It was on the roof.
It was on the roof. I checked the scene again. It was definitely the roof. Those fences are there.
Okay, so like there's this corridor fence as well.
If you look at the top, like the school from the top looks like an analog clock 8. It's like H-shaped, it's connected.
I get it.
With fences around them.
Oh,
and there's also like a bench and a planter that I checked with earlier scenes, and it's definitely this.
I just want to add to this that we've seen established multiple times throughout this episode that Kotonoha in a traumatized state is just sitting on the roof.
Yeah.
I just like to imagine her also being there where they're having this argument and they don't even notice her. She's just sitting there with her phone smiling to herself with her dead eyes.
No.
Just a second. Ich gieße mir mal ein.
I'm also going to take a wee sip.
I cry just a little when I think of letting go.
Okay. We can see that Makoto's seat in his classroom is now completely empty.
Yeah,
so
he's
gone,
also gone.
And Sekai is gone.
Yeah.
No one's sitting there. Hikari is there, I guess. She's looking upset. Whatever. I don't care about you anymore. Squad is there again, whatever. Now, this is the one where they talk about having sex with Kumi's boyfriend.
Yeah. I wrote down, the mean girls discuss continuing their polycule. Just, with a new boy toy.
And Kato is standing at the window being sad. Anyway, next scene.
Yeah.
Who cares? We see Makoto leaving his apartment in the evening. So I think there was a time skip.
Yeah, there must have been a fucking massive time skip between the last scene and this one. Because things have changed and we never get an establishment for what exactly happened.
Yeah, things have happened.
Yeah.
It could theoretically be the same evening, but I don't think so.
Okay, so this is grasping a little forward because this is going to be confirmed in a later scene. But Makoto and Sekai live together now?
Do they?
Yeah, he's shopping for both of them.
Yeah, I didn't know if that necessarily means that they live together. It could. Okay, because I thought we see Makoto here leaving in the evening his apartment, but it could be her apartment.
Like she says he's shopping something. He's out shopping something, so she must be where he just was.
Okay, so did he take some responsibility then?
Apparently. And apparently the show didn't find it necessary to show us that.
Okay, sure.
They apparently live together
now. If Makoto has
now.
any development, then they don't...
It must happen off screen.
They do not intend to show us.
Also, I'm slightly mad, but I gotta say it. Makoto's fit is pretty nice.
Yeah, he's got this...
he's wearing a white turtleneck.
Okay, mostly. He's wearing a coat with like a cool white neck on it, but I think he's also wearing like super baggy trousers.
Yeah.
Looks like great jogging pants.
Yeah. But
underneath
on the top half, he's wearing like a white turtleneck with this beige or like off-white coat over it with like a high collar.
To me, it's pretty nice. To me, it's like he went the full way on his top half and he's still in bed in his bottom half.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do that sometimes.
I mean, there are situations where you can dress like that. I think it's actually pretty progressive because this is a more current look.
Like if you're going to sports class but it's cold.
Yeah. No, it looks like an indoor outfit that you put a coat over, but it's a nice indoor outfit.
Anyway, Sakai's on the phone. She seems better, so I guess time did pass indeed.
Mm-hmm.
There's some present on her table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not clear what this is.
It's about to be Christmas or is Christmas currently.
Yeah, so there probably was quite a time jump that was not established.
Yeah.
Do we ever see the school again, or is the school just over as well?
I don't think we see it once. We see it once more in the final scene of the show. In the second to final scene.
Is there like a time jump maybe again?
It might be, but I think that scene actually takes place on the roof from what I remember. So.
It's not clear who she's talking to on the phone. I think it's Hikari.
Yeah.
Because
we see a response shot from her a bit later.
Yeah. She explains that Makoto bought stuff for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
He's
were
out
together.
buying stuff right
We see a table with ingredients on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's specifically a cabbage, 4 potatoes, 3 carrots or beets. I'm not sure which one they are.
That's very important to write down.
2 leeks, 2
Good
chicken
job,
legs,
yes.
3 buns. Are we actually gonna cook this in real life?
We 100% needed that. I mean, what is maybe we'll see next episode. We'll see next episode what she was actually cooking. I mean, we could.
Yeah.
We know what the recipe is.
It's a lot of vegetables.
It's a lot of vegetables, but eating healthy is good. I'm trying to lose weight right now.
Yeah. Cabbage, potatoes, carrots, or beets. I'm not sure which one it is. Leeks, chicken legs, and buns.
It might be radishes. No, it's not radishes. Those are very recognizable.
Yeah, no, they're not radishes. Anyway, she says that they'll talk later. Mm-hmm. And then she looks at a picture of Makoto on her phone. Mm-hmm. I didn't really understand this. Mm-hmm. Is this like her background image?
I assume she's just looking at a nice photo of Makoto.
It's weird because the next scene is Hikari answering on her phone. Mm-hmm. So, like, is she looking at the picture while they're on the phone talking?
I mean, on current phones, you can absolutely do this.
Yes.
I don't know if you could do that.
I had this weird idea that for some reason, she's sending her a picture of Makoto.
Hey, you remember this guy?
And Hikari confusingly says, "Sorry, I won't go near him anymore."
Yeah, after she hangs up the call, she says that.
Was there a hidden episode in between that we missed?
I mean, this feels like a follow-up from that earlier scene between her and Makoto, where she, walks away from him, right? But also, this is what I mean. Her relationship with Makoto was such a fucking nothing burger. It was based on nothing, it led to nothing.
Anyway, I guess Hikari and Sekai are fine again.
Yeah.
They're good? They're
friends? Yeah. I think the main issue between them from the get-go was, the cheating, but Sekai didn't know about that. The other part is that Sekai was just extremely depressed and didn't want to talk to people. Yeah. That was the main issue between them. And that seems to be better now.
Makoto is in the train. Yes. He's driving somewhere. This is just one shot. And then we move on to Kotonoha again.
Yes.
Who is spending the day in front of a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to find out if this is a real place in Tokyo.
Okay. Actually, on that topic, I found something out. I didn't really go on a rabbit hole, but that's something small that I found out last time when I was looking for a location that gets mentioned in a little bit. What the city is actually called that it takes place in. Because we know it's Fantasy Tokyo.
Yeah.
But I think we never discussed what this city is called in canon. And I know now. It's Haramihama.
Wait, that's the name of the city?
Yeah, Haramihama isn't a train station. It's the city it takes place in.
It is?
Yeah.
But why is the train station called that?
Yeah, that's a good question, because in Tokyo, you don't just have the Tokyo station. You have Shibuya, you have whatever, you have a shitload of places you could go to. Apparently, Haramihama is actually the name of the city.
I thought it was called Sakakino.
No, Sakakino is the name of the school. That's not the name of the city.
But it's also the name of Sakakino Hills, which
Yes, I know, that's how I got there. By looking at that.
Don't make me think.
Okay, so yeah, in our fictional Haramihama, there's this tree. Where is it in Tokyo? Have you found that?
I have not.
Okay.
I also tried to look at the trees, but I don't know.
What it actually looked like to me is the giant Christmas tree in New York.
I looked it up and there are some Christmas trees in Tokyo around the season.
I know.
It mostly just made me want to go to Tokyo during the Christmas season.
I just generally want to go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
As soon as that's possible. Again. As soon as this pandemic is over.
I just have to wait for the pandemic to end and to suddenly have money.
This podcast started when the pandemic was already going. This is a pandemic podcast.
I think it technically started before the pandemic.
It started before it became a pandemic, but the virus was already going around at that time.
That was like January. That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but we uploaded the first episode, I think, in February or March.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This has been going for a
well,
good bit.
one more episode after this.
Mm-hmm.
One more episode.
Two more of this.
Two for us.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't find the place.
Yes.
She's talking on her phone, and we just mentioned it. She says her dad could get them a room at Sakakino Hills.
Yes.
She says he has connections. I think I went into this before, what her dad's job is.
Mm-hmm.
And he like does stuff with houses or something at Sakakino Hills, I guess.
So I tried to look up Sakakino Hills and see if there's like a wiki entry on it, because there's wiki entries on fucking everything. There isn't.
The School Days wiki doesn't have information about the specific thing that we're looking for, but everything else.
Yeah. So Sakakino Hills isn't something that, there is an actual... She also says, she says in the text, not in the subtitles, she says Sakakino Hills. She says hills. So it's an English name. And my assumption is, Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the rich person neighborhood, and it's taken from Beverly
I always
Hills.
say this. Every city has like a hill where the rich people live.
Yeah, right. And Sakakino is just the name of the school. It's not the name of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we see in this scene that while she's saying that to her phone, we see the screen of the phone, and it's not even turned on.
Yeah, phone isn't on.
The phone isn't on.
Yeah. She tells, quote-unquote, him...
Which, is kind of raises the assumption that she has been doing this for so long that her phone ran out of energy.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
She tells him that to meet at the tree near the train station. Non-specific tree at non-specific train station.
Yeah. I mean, there's apparently just one train station in this city.
And there's just one tree in the city.
Yeah, it's the one in front of the train station. If Haramihama only has one train station, then it's got to be this one.
We also had some more white. We had Guacamole Station, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Guakenmai is what it was called.
Which is a different place. And some of the characters live in Haramihama and some people live outside.
She tells him to meet at the tree so that they can really be a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
And I noticed this in the scene. She's surrounded by couples on both sides of the bench.
Yes, I also noticed
and she's
that.
sitting alone.
Yeah.
And another thing I noticed is she's wearing her school uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cold.
Yeah.
It's winter.
It's really cold. Yeah.
Like she's physically stuck in the past.
That's being commented on later on too, that she must be super cold. She's been out here for a good bit. And it's snowing.
Yeah. Then you've mentioned this before, Kato shows up for one more scene.
Yeah.
She's at some burger place, throwing away her trash alongside with an image of Makoto and her, which I guess she had.
And a third person. It has
Third
Makoto
person.
in the middle, her on the right, on the left, and on the right is someone who Makoto has his arm on their head, and we don't see their face.
Weird.
And it's someone with like bows tied around two pigtails on the side.
Isn't that Hikari then?
Yeah, I was thinking, was Hikari also in their middle school? Is that why Hikari was interested in Makoto? Is there a whole story here that's not being told? Or is that just a cameo from another character from the visual novel? Who knows?
There is a lot of story that we're not being told about.
Yeah, there's a lot of like hints at the visual novel. Almost like, we could do this podcast a lot more effectively if we also played the visual novel and knew stuff about that.
She goes outside and it starts to snow. Actually, while I was doing my notes, it actually started to snow yesterday at the same time. It was like an out-of-body experience. So she breaks her neck looking up at the sky. Mm-hmm. It looks very unhealthy.
Her neck is very far back in that shot.
Yeah. And next scene is back at the tree. Mm-hmm. This time Makoto is there.
Yeah.
He's walking through the city on his own. He's obviously not there to meet Kotonoha because he has no idea she's there.
Yeah, she's talking
to no one.
A turned off phone and he has blocked her.
And we see he's on his phone where he attempts and fails to call Kato. This is even more sinister now that I realize that he's living with Sakai now.
Yeah.
He's trying to call Kato and fails. Tries to call Hikari and fails. And then he just goes through numbers.
And I've been very chill about it this episode. But there's this phone theme in School Days. And this episode in particular, as I mentioned last time, has a theme of reversals and contrast. And here we have Makoto trying to call all of these women that he was with, that he cheated on Kotonoha with, and that he ruined Kotonoha's life with. And he's getting the message, this number is not connected, or like, this person can't be called right now. Exactly the thing that happened when Kotonoha tried to call him multiple times throughout the show.
Yeah, I thought about that too. It's like an irony.
Yeah, it's he's in the position that Kotonoha was in now, and nobody wants to talk with him. And except for like one or two people, none of these actually broke up with him either. They just don't want to talk to him anymore and avoid him now. Exactly how he treated Kotonoha earlier on in the show. It's a reversal of that. And as his relationships with these people have died down, so does his phone communication with them die down. Proving once and for all that the phone is a metaphor for relationships and connections. Now that he's lost the connection with all of them, he's lost the literal connection on the phone with them too. It's all coming together. It's all going full circle here.
So I like to think about why everyone has rejected Makoto.
Yes.
Because it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned this in the previous episode, how like Al Capone was arrested for carrying an illegal gun.
No, he was arrested for parking in a spot where he wasn't allowed to park.
Was it that? Because I tried to look it up, but I just saw he was carrying a gun.
That might also be one. I think the thing that ultimately got him arrested was the car thing, and the thing that got him prosecuted was the illegal gun.
Anyway, he paid for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah, because like I don't know why everyone is rejecting him now. Like, this situation has really bad optics, right? Like, for sure.
It's like, I don't know, maybe everyone was able to ignore that he has an official girlfriend.
Like, are all of these people so fucking traditionally minded that they're like, oh, he has a child with this woman now. Of course he can't be with me anymore. Like, these people seem a lot...
Why is this the thing?
Yeah, why is this the thing that topples him?
Yeah. After this, he trips in a puddle. He like falls down, like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like he's causing his own problems. I think is what they're getting at. Anyway, it's just a moment of just failure. Like everything was going just fine.
Yeah. He also says that like everything was perfect, just a short while ago.
And then he sits down at the tree. And he starts looking at images of Kotonoha.
Oh, okay, you didn't write that down. He says, he also says in this situation, why is this happening to me? You didn't even write, I wrote that down, because first of all, fuck you, dude. Like, you know why this is happening to you. And secondly, like, I talked about, like, last episode, or second to last episode, I think, how this show is my Jokerification experience. I let out the ugliest villain laugh when he said, why is this happening to me? While I was watching the episode.
Yeah, and he starts looking at images of Kotonoha on his phone eventually. It's like after literally everyone has rejected him, he starts looking at images of Kotonoha.
Yeah.
Not Sekai, by the way.
Yeah, and the thing with Kotonoha also, like, I think I brought that up last episode, which is like, when there's all these women he has access to now, and who he's abandoning, and who have abandoned him now at this point in this episode, why hasn't he thought of Kotonoha earlier than this? Like, did he actually consider, like, well, I did break up with her, so that's not gonna fix itself. Like, Kato also clearly broke up with him and he still tried to call her. I don't know, why is he only now thinking of Kotonoha?
Yeah, so he sees the image of Kotonoha, and then he ends on the very first image.
Yes.
The one he took in the first episode on the train. Call back to the beginning.
Yeah, we're getting back to the fucking phone charm.
Yeah, he mentions it. Like,
the phone
he
charm.
says, urban legend. And then he says Kotonoha.
And also, like, if we remember back to the first episode, Sekai saw that image on his phone. So, it didn't work for him. The phone charm didn't work for him anyways.
Like, the way that he says Kotonoha like this is almost like he misses being with Kotonoha again.
Yeah.
Like, after all this, it's like he very slowly starts understanding what he did.
Yeah. Extremely slowly.
Yeah. And then the next thing is Kotonoha answers him.
Yes.
Because she's there, of course.
Yeah, also at the train.
And then
the train station.
Then there's this amazing shot that I love. Where you first see the very first image of Kotonoha on his phone. And then the camera pans up to actual real life Kotonoha. and like she looks so bad.
Yeah.
Like
She's snowed in.
Yeah, she's snowed in. Her eyes are dead. She's pale. Her hair looks thin. It's like the direct contrast of Kotonoha at the beginning to Kotonoha now.
Yeah. Imagine this as a before and after picture in like a shampoo commercial.
Wait, which one is the original?
This shampoo will make you look like shit.
And then she says, he came for her, right?
He lies.
He lies. He says he did. Asshole.
Yeah. I thought you were learning things.
Also, like, the way she says, like, right, you were coming for me. That, like, destroys any ambiguity that she actually believes she was talking to him for real. Like, she says she's been waiting for him. And then, like, this weird inspirational music starts playing. It's like this kind of Christmassy song. If you know what, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this beautiful song starts playing. It's like a contrast to this horrifying scene. And then, like, there's another very small cut to Sekai to interrupt this. Preparing food with, like, an emphasis on the knife.
We're getting the knife imagery again. I also noticed that.
She puts her hand on her stomach and says Makoto. Yeah, she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant with Makoto's child. I get it. I understand.
Then, like, we cut back again. And Kotonoha confusingly says, Sekai even wishes her the best.
Yeah, because she's transported herself back into early
I think she says this in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, that Sekai wishes her all the best.
Yeah.
Like, she's stuck in the past completely. She has returned to Monkey.
Yeah. She has reverted back to the school days.
Then she tells him she has to become the best girl for him, cooking, sewing, etc.
And meanwhile, Makoto's fucking breaking down.
So that they can be put aside. And the first time I saw this, because I didn't fully remember what would happen next. The first time I saw this was gonna be some dumb thing where he would just like, okay, whatever, I'm accepting you back, because like you're willing to give up any agency on your own, and everyone else has rejected me. But this doesn't happen.
Yeah,
he gets fucking terrified.
Yeah, he notices what the fuck he did to Kotonoha.
This is the scene that I mentioned that I love because like he's had consequences for the whole half of the episode.
Yeah.
But consequences for something dumb that didn't make sense.
And also, like, consequences that he didn't take to heart at all.
And now he's actually literally being confronted with the monster that he's created.
Yeah, he, like, actually had... this is the first scene in the anime where I feel like Makoto is a human.
Yeah.
Like, he actually experiences some human emotions here.
Like, he gets closer to her face. Like, he's seeing that she has no highlights in her eyes.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there.
He finally learned that his actions have consequences.
Yeah, like she keeps going. She keeps talking.
She says that she loves him.
Yeah, he's completely horrified. And then when she tells him that she loves him, he says, "Why?"
Why? Yeah, he can't understand how someone could love him. Which, like, yeah, the relationships he had weren't like romantic for the most part. Like most of the relationships he had were sex. Except for like Sekai and Kotonoha, the three guys who three love stories have developed from after they met in summer.
It's like for the first time, he understands that he did something bad.
Yeah.
But it happens so fast.
Yeah. You get the feeling here, like, this is the thing with the big time skip before, like, this end of the episode. Where, like, you kind of get this feeling that Makoto sort of noticed that shit has gone really fucking wrong in his life. But, like, hasn't really put A and B together yet.
So then he apologizes to her. Remember, there was a thing that she did all the time.
Yeah, she constantly apologizes to him. Contrast, reversals.
Yeah. Now he apologizes and embraces her. I don't know if I like that he embraces her.
I don't mind that part. We'll get to it.
Yeah, so he hugs her and he apologizes. Like, he's in tears.
He has so finally become a real boy.
Yeah. And then, like, the highlights return her eyes.
Yeah. She is no longer insane. She is healed now.
She snaps back to reality.
There goes gravity.
She
has been cleared of her mental issues.
She's totally fine now.
She's good now. Everything's okay, gang. And she, like, hugs him back.
Yeah.
And says his name.
Yeah, she's... So, spoiler warning, she's not okay.
She's not broken in the same way anymore. Is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing that did bother me about this scene.
Okay.
That her highlights came back. And that she's fine now. Because here's my take on what the end of this episode should have been. Exactly the same, except she doesn't get better, and then the show ends. I think the show should end right here. I think it's a big missed opportunity that they put in another episode after this one.
I mean, they should have changed a lot more things.
Yeah, but I feel like it would have been a much more... Like, okay, we're gonna talk about the final episode, and how a lot of people love the final episode, and how I don't feel great about the final episode. I feel a much more satisfying ending would have been right here, with Makoto noticing how much he's fucked up everything in his life, and that being like a slightly open.
Hey, we should make a video game together.
Okay.
Imagine it's the plot of School Days, but good.
I mean, making a visual novel doesn't seem that difficult, to be honest.
And programming-wise, no.
Yeah, probably like you need a lot of artwork. That's probably the issue.
Yeah,
there.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You need to draw a lot.
Yeah.
So we get to do School Days again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second season of the podcast. We make School Days, but we fix it.
We make I don't know what we call it, like boarding school times or something like that.
Anyway, to get back,
Yeah.
this is where the episode ends.
Yeah, this is where we lead into the end credits. It doesn't say on this day the three guys met. In the summer the three guys met. Their three relations.
Whatever it
formed
was.
into three love stories.
That broken sentence. So I have something. Okay, because you mentioned this before, I started writing down the credits images again.
Oh, okay, nice.
In the order that they're in.
Yeah, like
And,
last episode, I was the one who did this.
I noticed something. Because I thought, okay, I'm just going to write down the order.
I also wrote down something about the ones in this episode in particular.
Yeah.
Where basically I was a bit unsatisfied by the image choices in this episode. Because it was like all the women Makoto was with, plus Nanami. And also Setsuna shouldn't have been in there because she's out of the plot now. She shouldn't be in the images. It just felt pretty random to me in this episode.
Yeah, what I noticed is, because I went back to some of the earlier notes that I did when I was still writing down the orders, and I regret not writing them down anymore, because there's not 12 unique orders. There's only like 6.
Okay.
Also, I'm just gonna say this now. The last episode doesn't have credits images.
Okay.
Doesn't have any. So episode 1, 9, and 8 have Kotonoha, Sekai, Setsuna, and then Kotonoha and Sekai together. And the same images in the same order, even at the same speed.
Okay.
And episode 4, 7, and 11, so including this one, have Kotonoha, Sekai, Setsuna, Hikari, Kato, Nanami, Squad, Kokoro, and then Kotonoha and Sekai.
Yeah, basically the basic all of the girls
Yeah.
rundown with Kotonoha and Sekai in the end.
And for some reason, 3 and 6 also have the same one, the longest one. That's Kokoro, Kotonoha, Hikari, Nanami, Kato, Squad, Setsuna, Sekai again in Rediff uniform, Kotonoha and Sekai together.
Can I give a theory for why this is?
What is it?
The length of the end credit songs. They have changing end credit songs, so they have different lengths basically of the ending
But
to go along with
But
them.
3 of the episodes, 2, 5, and 10 still have unique credits.
Like 10 we noticed last time. That was the one where it's only Setsuna.
Then I think there were more, because I did you did catch me yesterday watching all credits at the same
Yes.
time, just with
Yes.
like 12 windows open. And episode 5, we know about this one. That's the swimming pool episode. Remember
yeah.
there were a lot of horrible.
Oh yeah,
images.
the end credits were all of them in swimsuits, right?
Yeah, it was also a lot of images in that one. And I don't remember episode 2. That one was also unique. I think it wasn't anything special, but it was a different order.
Okay.
And another thing, the credit songs,
Uh-huh.
they're also not unique.
Okay. So those also repeat. Like I noticed it with 1 or 2 that they repeated.
Yeah, there's 8 credit songs in total for 12 episodes.
Yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
the swimming pool episode and I think this episode have the same end credits theme.
No. We need to differentiate between the song that plays in the credits
And
the
songs
song...
that play towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, I didn't write that down. Just the credit scenes.
Because like the end credit song of the swimming pool episode also played at the end of last episode and this episode.
Yeah, it could be. I didn't look that up.
Yeah.
So episode 1 and 8 have the same credit song. Just 1 and 8. 2 has a unique one. 3 and 11 have the same one. So this credit song is the same as in episode 3.
Okay.
4 and 7 have the same one. 5 is unique. 6 and 10 have the same one. And 9 and 12 are unique.
What was episode 3 about? What happened in episode 3? Because I feel like with this episode being so much about callbacks to early on in the show,
it would make sense.
there might be a meaning to it having the same ending song as episode 3. Episode 3, I think, was the one where Makoto and Kotonoha went on a date.
I think there was 2, but I don't
That
remember
might have been 2
fully.
as well. I think it was 3. I think in episode 2 they weren't on a date yet. I think that was where Sekai was preparing Makoto for a date.
That was so long ago.
Yeah, that was so long ago.
Anyway, episode 12 has a unique one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that one. It's not the finale song of episode 12. It's a different one for the credits. But yeah, so I found that out.
It's interesting because, like, I know last episode when I actually listened to the end credits song, I noticed that it was very much about how Setsuna feels in the situation she was in at that point. And that one was also in an earlier episode.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was also connected to Setsuna there.
No, that was episode 3. Yeah, we just mentioned this.
No, wasn't it episode 6 with the one from last episode, from episode 10? Where it was about Setsuna's feelings?
The song, right?
Yeah,
the
that song.
Not in the credits, but before that, right?
No, in the credits. The in the credits song.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 10 has the same as 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the meaning in 6 was then. Or if they just, like, arbitrarily did that. But that would be something interesting to look into.
I believe 6 is the episode that ends with Kotonoha catching Sekai and Makoto kissing on the roof.
For those of you listening to this podcast from the future, in your research work for an even more comprehensive podcast on every episode of School Days, that's something to look into. Keep that in mind.
Or for the second season, where we do School Days again.
No! We can't do the worst idea of all time. That podcast exists already, and it works differently.
Yeah, that's... I have nothing more to say. Except the next episode is the last one.
The next episode is the last one.
We're getting to the finale.
We're getting to the actual finale next time, which continues on pretty much directly from this episode. From what I remember, the first scene of the next episode is right after this one. So at least we're past the time skips now. I think there's some small time skips like at the very end of the episode. But we're in it now. We're deep in it.
We're in the end game.
We're in the Avengers Endgame, and we can't wait to lead all of you there. It's gonna be a good and festive time. We're gonna enjoy it to our fullest. We're gonna try to bring the final episode out by Christmas, and if not, like by the end of the holidays. And yeah, it's. We're in December almost. School Days is in December now. Big Christmas finale. Until then, right?
Yes.
We wish you a Merry School Days, miss. It's coming up.
We wish you a Merry School Days.
We wish you a Merry School Days and a happy next 2 episodes. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.